everyone, my name is McKenna, also known as Sylphic Studios, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I'm back with a super exciting video because I'll be showing you guys another one of my commissions that I finished like a month or so ago. This doll is of my commissioner's original character and her name is Ivy. I absolutely loved her hair color and her baggy cargo pants, so I was super excited to make her. So without further ado, let's get into the customizing, starting with prepping. So to make Ivy, we decided to use G3 Twyla for the base doll because we felt like it fit her the best. The face shape is pretty similar and so is the body, so Twyla is the perfect base. So of course, as always, to start the process, we'll be chopping off all of her hair. So I'm just going in with my tiny scissors here and just chopping off all of her hair starting at the root. And I'm just working my way all the way around until all of her hair is cut off. And if you guys see all of that black hair that's already there, I was prepping like I think 4 different dolls at once here, so I had a whole hair pile going on, so just disregard that. But here I am just chopping at her hair until everything is cut off. Once I chop off like the main mass of hair, I like to go in and just shorten up all of the stubble as short as I possibly can. Because I find the shorter the stubble, the easier it is to like pull out the hair later whenever you're trying to remove everything. So it just makes it a lot easier. And I also like to go in with a fan brush and just clean everything up to like make it easier for me to see what I'm actually working with and just to get all the hair off the body. So once her hair was all cut off, this is what she's looking like. So now we're on to the doll brutality portion, which is removing her head. So we are going to be boiling her in some boiling water, of course, and then just pulling off her head here. This one was a little bit more difficult to pull off. I don't know why, some heads are just easier. This one was a little bit harder. So here she is, completely beheaded. And I'm just now realizing this as I'm doing my voiceover that I don't have any footage of me removing the hair from the inside of her head, so I guess we're going to be jumping into repainting her scalp. I am so sorry. I don't know what happened to that footage. I have a ton of other videos going over that removal process if you guys would like that in more detail or would like to see that. But for now, I'm just moving on to painting her scalp this bright red color to of course match the hair that we're going to be rerooting her with. I did end up doing a couple more coats of this off camera just to make it more opaque, but this is what it was looking like after that one single layer. So now it's on to the next step of the process, which is rerooting. So for Ivy's hairstyle, she has these front bangs and then 2 high pigtails in the back. So I needed to reroot her hair to work for that style, and that required a lot of hole poking because of the Twyla that I chose to use for this, because this Twyla had a pretty hard like right side part, and Ivy has like frontal bangs and 2 high pigtails, so I had to do a lot of extra bang poking here, or bang hole poking, and then also her hairline here. And to make sure that I was poking the holes evenly, I was putting in sewing pins to like evenly measure. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just using these to eyeball the holes and make sure they're even. This is me showing you guys the holes that I just poked, like the even triangle for her bangs and then the hairline down the back. And now I'm just rerooting the hair in there like I usually would. This is the bangs right here. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that part of this character's hairstyle is like a half up, half down with the pigtails, so part of the hair in the back is fully rooted and down, and then the other part is partially rooted for the pigtails so they would lay properly. You'll see what I mean, but for now I'm just filling in the bangs one side at a time to just make everything easier for me, because once there's a lot of hair it gets pretty messy and pretty hard to handle. So after the bangs I moved on to the back, and just to evenly measure again I'm using sewing pins. And this is like the back hairline, or like the part line where you pull up the hair into the pigtail and where it like goes down for the half up, half down style, if that makes sense. So that it actually looks like a part line. I don't know if that makes sense. You'll see what I mean. You'll see it all come together. I promise you'll see what I mean. So once I poke all those holes, I'm just going in and filling them in with hair, of course. I'm just rerooting all of those holes. And this is the part of the hair that's going to be like down, so it's fully rooted, so I'm just sectioning this off so it doesn't get entangled in all of the other hair. I ended up rooting both sides off camera, but that's one side done, and then this is both sides done and all sectioned off. You can kind of see what I mean with like the hairline and the part line, just making it look nicer. And like I said earlier, the pigtails are partially rooted just so that they lay flatter on the head. So now I'm taking my handy dandy Fabri-Tac glue and just gluing in all of the hair, and I'm using a ton of glue for this. You want to use a lot more than you think you need because you want to make sure the hair is in there as good as it possibly can be. Because the last thing you want is to be brushing your doll's hair and then to be pulling out strands of hair that you just worked hours on rerooting. So just make sure that you glue it in there all good. I let the glue set overnight, and then the next day I'm just moving on to styling her hair. I probably should have waited to do this until the very end, but I got this hairstyling stand and it's way easier to style hair on this thing because this thing is like a unit, like it does not move. But later, after I took her hair cover off, her hairstyle was a little bit messed up, so I should have just done the fancy hairstyling later and just put it into a rough style for now, but you live and you learn. But this is what I ended up with after I roughly styled her hair, and I also gave it a little bit of a chop. But now let's put her head to the side and start working on her body repaint. So for this body repaint, I had to mix this super beautiful deep skin tone because Ivy has this beautiful deep skin tone. So I kind of just mixed a lot of warm tone browns and cool tone browns until I got the proper shade. And of course the key to making your paint super smooth is watering it down, so I'm just pouring in a little bit of water and mixing it. Now as you can see, Twyla is not purple anymore, she is bright white. And that's actually because I'm testing out a lot of different spray primers right now, and because this, character was purple and I'm trying to turn her into a natural skin tone, I had to make her white first to balance out the color. So I just took her outside with my respirator mask, of course, and started spraying her with my primer. This custom right here was actually the first doll that I tried it out on, and let me tell you, this stuff saved me so much time when it came to the body repaint. Because normally I would go in and hand paint a couple layers of white to even out the skin tone if I was like painting a fantasy tone to like a different color, like Twyla for example. But with this, I literally just went outside, sprayed her for like a minute, and let her dry. And that was it. It saved me so much time. So I'll let you guys know how this primer is after I work on a couple more dolls with it. So far I've had like 0 issues, 0 complaints. It's worked out so well. And especially since I normally don't feel the need to sand my dolls before painting them, this primer definitely gives it the extra like boost of durability that it needs. Because honestly, sometimes MSC just isn't enough like to seal in a whole body repaint like this. It's great for face ups and stuff, but whenever you're trying to seal in like so much paint, it can be a little bit light. Or trying to like prime with it at least, because it's just not strong enough. So anyway, I like this primer. I'll let you guys know how it is. I'll insert a photo of the one that I'm testing out right now. I've only used it a couple times as of recording this voiceover, but so far I love it. I highly recommend it. But anyway, as you can see, I'm just painting her body like I usually would. Just trying to paint everything all in one direction to make the paint as smooth as possible. And I think I've mentioned this before in one of my other previous videos, but I will be remaking my body repaint tutorial somewhat soon for my Custom Doll 101 series. It is the next part that I'll be making, but I just have so much content that I have to post, so I'll be making that whenever I get the time. But for now, my process is literally the exact same, except I just use a spray primer now. So it is the same exact thing, just water down the paint, seal with watered down Mod Podge, and then MSC. But anyway, this is her after 2 layers of paint. It is definitely a trust the process moment, but it definitely takes a lot less layers now that I have a fully like opaque white base. So this is her after I believe like 4 or 5, maybe 6 layers. I honestly don't remember. Like I kind of lose count sometimes. So now that the paint is even, I'm just going in and watering down my Mod Podge. And this might sound weird to you guys because I do end up spraying the doll matte anyway, but I do use glossy Mod Podge because I feel like the texture of it is just more like forgiving. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like matte Mod Podge can dry super quick, and if you're not fast enough, like you can get some pretty bad streaks. But with glossy Mod Podge, I feel like you have a lot more time to work with it and it's just smoother, especially when watered down. So I use glossy Mod Podge and then just spray everything with Mr. Super Clear afterward for like a final like seal, you know what I mean? But for now, here I am just painting the Mod Podge on the same way that I do the paint, just all in one direction. This is what she was looking like after the glossy Mod Podge was all dried and applied. As you can see, she's looking really glossy, but that will go away once I spray her with Mr. Super Clear. But we're actually not done with the body repaint yet because we have to make her face match her body. So here I am just protecting her hair with some extra fabric and some safety pins, or not safety pins, fabric pins, and yeah, I think those are safety pins. Yeah, safety pins. And then I'm just taking 100% acetone nail polish remover and taking off all of her factory paint. I know I say this like literally every time, but I love this part. I love seeing like their different eye sculpts come through, because for some dolls their paint can actually cover up their sculpt like a lot and you can't even like tell really what their features look like underneath, especially if they're wearing like super heavy eye makeup like this Twyla. So I don't know, I just like destroying dolls. I guess that's the TLDR. Huh? But anyway, yeah, now I'm just removing her lips, and then I did end up doing her entire like facial repaint off camera because I also lost that footage, I guess. So this is her face repaint partially done, and now it's onto her face up. So from Ivy's reference pictures, she doesn't have any like heavy makeup or anything, so for this face up I heavily like leaned into like highlighting her crease and just focusing on contrast here. So I made sure to put some definition into her crease and then also highlight like her eyelids so that it wouldn't get lost. And for her lip color, since the artwork that I had for reference didn't have like any lip shade or anything, my commissioner told me that she has this like dark brown lip color, so I just used these brown colored pencils and started defining her lips. And I'm just going back and forth making these tiny little lines to give them like the little line definition that your lips have, you know what I mean? And this is what she was looking like halfway through. This is before I go in and start outlining everything with black. And unfortunately, if you're familiar with my content, I do end up losing a lot of my footage where I do the detail work because my big fat head is always in the way of the frame. So I'm sorry that I can really never show you guys how I do like my really detailed eyeliner outlines because I am taking that super slow and it takes me a while. So that was her before I started adding painted details, and this is after. Sometimes colored pencils can't get as vibrant as I want them to be because they just can't build up that well, so I always go in with watered down acrylic paint for the whites of the eyes and like usually like the eye color. Now I'm going in with some black pastels and just packing in the shadows, and then her pupils, and then I'm carving it out with a kneaded eraser. I did add her catch lights off camera because again my head was in the way, but this is what her finished face up was looking like and I am in love with it. So I of course sealed her outside with Mr. Super Clear, and now I'm taking her hair down so we can get into the actual hairstyling portion. So like I said earlier, I probably should have just waited to style her hair until now, like when I'm doing her bangs, but it's whatever. I guess I did end up having to redo these ponytails, but it's okay. I feel like they still look literally the same as they did before. But moving on from her ponytails, I'm just point cutting her bangs, and I honestly had no idea what I was doing when I was styling these bangs, guys. Like, I am not the best when it comes to doll hair. I'm still learning. So this took me a lot of trial and error in like curling iron and glue, not glue. What am I looking for? Gel. Holy shit, gel. To actually get the hair to stay. So I honestly could not tell you for the life of me how I did this, so here's just some clips of it, and this is what her hair looked like at the end. So I feel like it turned out pretty good, it just took a while to get there. But yeah, this hair was definitely a learning experience for me. This hairstyle was a pain in the butt. But with her hair finally done, it's time to get into the final portion, which is her outfit. Okay, so for her outfit, I unfortunately don't have a lot of footage of that. I know, I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry. I was trying to make 3 outfits at once when I was doing this, so it was a lot. So I didn't end up recording a lot of it, but for her pants, I did use a pattern from Delightful, of course. And then her top is also a pattern from Delightful that I altered. I just altered like a t-shirt to fit as a tank top a little bit better. So now for her shoes, I'm just taking base G3 Twirlized boots and cutting off like the little sock detail at the top because this character has brown combat boots. And then I also cut off like the little like loop at the back for the little attachment that Toralei has. And I made sure to sand the tops of those all smooth. When it comes to painting these boots, I just prime them with the same exact primer that I used for the body repaint, and then I'm just going in with watered down brown paint and just painting like the entire thing brown. I did go in with a darker brown in detail like the bottom of the boot as well as the laces, but that I don't have footage of unfortunately. So for now, here is me just painting the entire boot a nice brown color. In this next part, I don't have enough footage for it to be considered its own section, so I'm just adding it on here. I also sculpted her a hoverboard as well because this character has a hoverboard. So I just made it out of wire, foil, epoxy clay, and then now I'm just painting it with acrylic paint. I did add some detail work to this too, but of course I don't have the footage for that, so you'll see that later. But this is her full outfit. That tie is from Welcome Committee Frankie because I felt like it was the perfect tie. And then that's her little shirt. That is her little thigh belt for her pants. These are her little fingerless gloves that I made as well. And then these are the big boy pants. I'm obsessed with these. I seriously want these for myself. But with that being said, let's get her dressed up for her reveal. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this week's YouTube video. And an even bigger thank you over to my commissioner for trusting me to make Ivy for you. Thank you so much. I had so much fun putting her together. Being trusted to make your guys' OCs is like my favorite thing as a doll artist. Like just being trusted to make your guys' babies into a doll is like just such a heartwarming thing. I don't know. And it's like seriously one of my favorite things to do. So keep the OC submissions coming, guys. I love them so much. Next week's video will be my 5th and final commission from this last batch, so I'm super excited to show you guys her. This next doll took a lot of sculpting work and it was a lot of trial and error, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that video. But with that being said, if you guys would like early access to future videos, future dolls, and other benefits, I highly recommend checking me out over on my Patreon. I did just add a new benefit to all my tiers where everyone gets early access to being able to purchase my future shop dolls, so if you guys would like a doll from me in the future, I recommend checking me out over there. But with that being said, a huge thank you to my patrons over there. Pumpkin Tushy, Morgan, Samuel, Daisy, Lisa, Kiara Y. Coconuts, Titus Suraf, Arturo Ayala, Ali Neal, Brooklyn Butchie, Aneka Kulo, Arel, Debrisha Pittman, Abigail Spring, Artsy Edits, and Lily Carlino. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to keep up with me further, you should go check me out on my Instagram. I am super active on there basically every single day, and I also post on TikTok weekly as well. So yeah, I will have all of those linked in the description below. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys are having a good morning, night, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys in next week's video.